Iowa, just north of Shenandoah. So Shenandoah, you're included in this warning as well. You're looking, right-click that, and there you go. Get that up. And then maybe loop it around a little bit to see if we can see any more signs. So this was this one, the first warning up there, showing a little bit of rotation. And then progressing through this one right here. Okay, so nothing that jumps off right away, but it showed a little sign. And again, we're looking fairly high up. We can't get to the lower part of the cloud base because of where this is in relation to the radar. So putting that warning on likely just to cover the basis that, I mean, radar indicated rotation. Okay, we've got a water rescue going on here with the flash flood threat here in
live right now, happening from Kaylee Searcy's vantage point, 72nd and Pinckney. Kaylee, you're dialed in. What can you tell us what we're seeing here?
Absolutely, yes. So they are getting people out of their cars right now. There's a lot of cars that are almost fully submerged. You can see that silver car there and those people that are waist deep. They're trying to get them all out of the cars. I just spoke to people here on the side that said that they hurried up and ran out of their cars because they just see the water just rushing and coming up. And again, it's waist deep, and even depending on how tall you are, it's even more water. And you have Omaha Fire here. And again, there's just a cluster of cars on 72nd Street here that they're trying to make sure that everyone is out. Now, along the road here, you hear there. Obviously, like, there's a lot going on here. They're trying to keep people from coming down this way. A lot of people are turning around, but still this silver Jeep here and this black Jeep Renegade, there are still people in these cars. There's still people in these cars now, but they're still trying to get them all out. I'll just throw it back to you guys as we try to work the scene.
Yeah.
And Kaylee said that there's someone getting out of their car right now, it looks like.
How long have you been on scene,
if you can still
Kaylee?
see, they're getting out right now. I've been here for just about maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and in the time we've had to move, but you can see. Yeah, since we've been out here, we had to move just because we seen the water rising, and I would say it started rising just within maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Each time it kept going up and up. And it's starting to get almost where it's covering the wheels here, the tires here of that Jeep, and they're starting to have to come out because they realize that the water just kept coming up and up. And even here, just this area just over here on 72nd and Pinckney, this wasn't even flooded. This wasn't even covered. We didn't even have any of this covered with this much water. So in the last 10 to 15 minutes, it is now where people are, you see this car, they're all turning around, and it's a lot of water. It's a large body of water here.
Yeah, folks, that's why we're saying just how fast this can happen and why you cannot drive through roadways and waterways like this. Kaylee, it looked like some Good Samaritans watching on the side, even coming in and trying to help some of those people trapped in their cars. Is that what you've seen from your point of view as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a group who came all together, wading through the water and helping each other, trying to come through because they were all the way up there in the cluster of cars, and they came to the higher concrete because this is the only part right now that is not flooded. This is the only part that's not flooded with water. Everything else has been flooded, and there was no other safe ground, so they are starting to come this way. If you can see, these are all people whose cars were flooded, and they all were able to get out safely, and now they're just sitting off here to the side. And like I said, yes, a lot of Good Samaritans are just kind of helping each other, trying to make sure everyone gets to safety.
Okay, can you tell us, is that water, is it moving, or is it, I mean, I can see kind of, it looks like it might be rushing water.
Yeah, so it looks like it was rushing at one point, but right now it's moving, almost like moving down the street here. And I think that is why these cars are starting to become a little bit more submerged because of the hill that it's almost on. So the water is kind of just pooling in this area now. So it's almost like it's not rushing anymore. It's now more still, but I think just all the movement of everyone getting out, like you can see this woman who just got out of that Jeep Renegade there, she was trapped in there since we've got here, and just her car, it wasn't even that submerged just, 15 minutes ago. It was less. There was less water surrounding her car, and so now just you can see she's knee deep in the water, and that's just at the lower part of the street. But when you keep going up and up, it gets higher up to the chest.
Jeez.
Okay, I think
see-
we're
yeah.
going to send it back to Sean. He might have an update. Thank you,
Thanks,
Kaylee.
Kaylee.
Really, just some perspective where Kaylee's
Thanks,
at.
guys.
We've got the view from our Skycam. Again, this is north of Maple and south of Military, and it kind of creates a bowl. If you bring it back out to Max 1 right now with me on screen, come back out here. There we go. So this is where it is pinky right now. This is Maple up here. You go down here and from Military, so it's going to the lowest point. And as we've been inundated with that heavy rainfall, it's all settling right there near Platt and Pinckney Street. And that's where we're seeing the most significant flooding there. Now, back, we've got still tornado warnings out right now. We had a funnel just a few minutes ago reported near the Oakland area for this tornado warn storm in eastern Pottawatomie County that continues still. Luke, until 7:30, I believe, but I think it was here. If we loop this back around the last 15 minutes or so, right around Oakland, there was 7:05 had a report of a funnel reported there. So it's possible, some lowering there, right there, because based on the timestamp on the velocity at the time of the report, it was likely this area right here may have had a brief funnel. So still. Again, your Griswold area, south of Hancock, still that tornado warning. Does that one still go till just 7:15, Luke?
Yes, just 7:15.
But they may. Okay, so we've got this going on right now. And then if we go south, Luke, we've got a couple more tornado warnings still we're watching. If we go down southwest Iowa again, near Red Oak, Essex. See some areas of tightening rotation. And then again, this is the ongoing tornado warned storms in southwest Iowa on the right side of your screen here. This is the ongoing flash flooding that we're seeing rescues happen on 72nd Street near Pinckney, which is between Maple and Military Avenue. At the moment right now, it looks like our crew is on the move right now. But again, we've got a couple of tornado warnings out right now. Let's switch over, try to get a storm relative velocity if we get a better look here. But some radar indicated rotation with these storms here. A couple right here near Red Oak. This is just looping around to show you the progression. Near Essex, Shenandoah. Folks, anywhere here in the red box, make sure you're at your tornado safe shelter right now, as we've seen the course of the late night, early morning. The leading edge of this line of storms, seeing the potential for some quick spin-ups. Luke, if we can go back, zoom out a little bit more, just to kind of see if anything jumps off. Again, it had a report of a funnel near the Oakland area, was about 10 minutes ago. So 3 active tornado warnings. I think this one is only active for another minute. But again, if we flip back over to reflectivity, you can see the leading edge of that line of storms continuing to plow through eastern Pottawatomie County into Cass County, Iowa. Heads up, folks in Atlantic, this is up to you next. And again, the bulk of the severe threat this morning has now exited the Omaha metro area, and the heavy rain shutting down right now, but still the potential. We've been showing you some areas seeing significant flash flooding, water over roadways right now. We're going to zoom out a little bit more on this radar here, Luke. We're going to stay on this just for a little bit, so you can see really bisecting. The entire view here is still up through Carroll. We're so past through Denison, Ottoman County, down toward Red Oak here, and get these little notches there on the front end. That's where we're seeing the potential still for a quick spin up. So folks in Atlantic may be able to watch out with an earlier funnel reported near the Oakland area, and that's part of the line heading your way.
And
right
Sean,
now.
we have a new flash flood warning. It now includes Harrison, Pottawatomie, Shelby, and Washington counties, and that warning is out until 11 a.m.
Okay, and
So
that
for
makes
the-
sense. Still, as we've been showing you this morning, I don't know if we've got. I'll step out real quick and got the whole extent of the flash flooding right now. You can see they're everywhere in red. Those are active flash flood warnings. We've been in a flash or just a flood watch with the potential for heavy rainfall. That continues until this evening, but anywhere here in the darker reds, Ottoman County, and then this swath here, northern Pottawatomie County into southern Shelby, Harrison County, most of the Omaha metro, Douglas, western Potawatomi County, and then up here toward Tacoma. Looks like the flash flood warning is over in Fremont, but to have just a general flood warning right now. But any of these areas, again, never drive over water-covered roadways. We don't know how deep it is. We've seen several spots in the Omaha Metro that have flooded. That's one right here, again, in between Maple and Military on 72nd Street. It kind of creates a natural bowl as you go down from Maple or down from Military. So that's where we're seeing the water all collect at the bottom there near Pinckney and Pratt Streets on 72nd. There's that car wash there, a couple auto parts stores line there, the Ford dealership near there too. I'm going to step out just a moment, flip back over to our radar to show you again the heavy rain threat pushing out of the Omaha Metro. Still a nasty line of storms that's been severe warned here for the last 2.5, 3 hours going on. Still advancing through southwest Iowa. Look, they have is this that extension of that tornado warning just as a thunderstorm warning right here west of Atlantic?
You talking about the severe thunderstorm warning outside the tornado warning box?
Yeah, this one right here. But I think it was that was the. That's right. This one that's flashing right here. Okay, so destructive severe thunderstorm potential for probably 70-mile-per-hour winds with that one, and maybe a possible tornado as well with the fact that we had a funnel report there. Red Oak down toward Clarinda, again, tornado warn. Though right now, with the ongoing flash flood threat through parts of the Omaha metro area, we have Kaylee Searcy. She's live talking to folks right now. Let's go to that real quick, and then we'll jump back here to radar. We'll send it out to Kaylee.
Yeah, so I'm out here still at 72nd and Pinckney, and I'm with Samantha Hyman. She is one of the people whose car is submerged in that water here. So Samantha, can you tell me, what did you experience as you were just driving through? What happened?
I was driving to work like I normally do. I was following the person in front of me, and I didn't realize how deep the water was. I followed him in, and as soon as I knew it, I was floating down the road.
Absolutely. So it's just talk about, I guess, experiences like when it was too late.
Yeah, I was just floating there, kind of freaking out, and water was starting to rise, and I knew I had to get out. So I rolled down my window, climbed out, and kind of. By that time, it was waist deep, and I walked to Amoco.
All right, I'm going to send it back to you guys as I still touch base with Samantha, and just kind of see there's law enforcement also on scene. Just touching base to see what is going to happen to these cars and if there's anyone else that needs to be rescued.
Flash flooding concern will continue even as the heavy rain has passed through the Omaha Metro. And again, never drive through water-covered roadways. It's our worst fear when we see these flash flooding events where we've had several rounds of heavy rainfall of folks getting stranded like we've seen there on 72nd Street. And again, you never know how deep that water is. Still, several severe thunderstorm warnings, Carol, down through Atlantic. There's the leading edge, and still 2 active tornado warnings, Luke. Let's go back down really between Clarinda and Red Oak right now and see if we can see any rotation. Again, we had an earlier report of a funnel near Oakland. That was the storm more off to the north, but Montgomery and Page County. Look at that, right on the doorstep of Red Oak, Essex, heading closer to Villisca eventually, and Clarinda. If we flip over to Velocity to see if they just trim back down that back edge of the warning as the leading edge has pushed through. So right over Red Oak right now. Luke, if you can loop that for about 15 minutes. Let's see, yeah, it's kind of flattened out a bit, but along that leading edge, you can kind of see a couple of them there between Red Oak and Essex trying to possibly rotate a little bit. So again, and this is radar indicator, yeah, right there. Some radar indicated rotation with both of these storms and now advancing, pushing through the Red Oak area. Let's flip back over to reflectivity, likely lining up with the leading edge there. Again, some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts where you see some of these pinks, purples, potential there for possibly quarter-size hail as well. Let's zoom back out, Luke, if you can. Look at that. Again, going through our entire viewing area through southwest Iowa, out of Nebraska, still just some lingering light rain, Bellevue, Plattsmouth, but up through Carroll, Atlantic, the Audubon area, Red Oak, down toward Clarinda. Let's keep going south. I mean, this is extending out, it looks like, into parts of northwest Missouri. Some folks down there, yeah, even more so down into Kansas, so just east of Falls City, Rockport, Tarkio. Folks in Maryville that are tuning in, I know we do have some viewers down in Maryville, Missouri that watch KETV. This will be heading your way soon, not warned yet, but could be. But still folks downstream, Taylor, Adams County, Creston area, Clarinda. This is still heading your way. As we've got several of these warnings still warned for another 10 to 25 minutes here as we go through the 7 o'clock hour. And again, this is the first round of severe storms that we're anticipating here today. This was what we expected with the early morning round pushing through. Now getting close to 7:30, heading into southwest Iowa. The biggest question now, as we've gotten rocked this morning with very heavy rainfall, will the atmosphere have enough time to recharge for round 2 later on today, which more likely would be in the realm of noon to 2 for the Omaha Metro for round 2, as the upper level support, the low, the front kind of move through. This was ahead of it. So this was round 1 pushing out. We'll wait to see, but especially in Iowa, expecting more severe weather into the afternoon and evening here on this Tuesday. This is round 1, but again, still going through our entire eastern half of our viewing area, southwest Iowa right now. Again, heavy rain threat moving out of the metro area, still ongoing flash flood warning, just with all the rain we've had. Many spots along and north of I-80 have probably seen anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain, and some spots even more than that since yesterday evening, just over the last 12 hours. As it's already been a very wet May, we're seeing even more incredibly torrential downpours here from this line of storms that's continuing to push through, not as quickly, it looks like, as we've seen earlier this morning. But again, a couple of tornado warnings. We've been watching for areas of rotation here along the leading edge all morning long. Haven't gotten any confirmation of anything yet, but again, this is all radar indicated. We've had a report of a funnel about 15 minutes, 20 minutes ago here west of Atlantic. Luke, if we flip over to velocity right now just to see. Oh, look at this. Let's zoom in here. Here we go. Folks in Atlantic or in Cass County, Iowa. There we go. I mean, I don't know if Weather Service chat, Luke, is talking about this area rotation interest, but I mean, this is as good as we've seen here this morning. This is just south of Atlantic, the red going away, the green toward, getting more tightening rotation. But again, this is still looking several thousand feet up based on where it is in relation to the radar site. But I mean, that's showing general rotation there. We'll see if we get a tornado warning storm. This would be for Cass County. But again, right now, severe thunderstorm warning, but that's showing some impressive rotation that high up. Again, we're not hitting the lower base of the cloud where you typically see a tornado develop, just because the relation to the radar, but that's still showing some impressive velocity coupling going on right now, where we get the reds and the greens close to each other. So let's go back to reflectivity, Luke, and see what things look like there. So yeah, like this is the area. Maybe if we go to correlation coefficient, let's see if we put in the dual pole products. Nothing that would jump. If you start to see some of those blues, that would be typical of a debris ball signature. And there we go. Okay, as anticipated, with that rotation, a new tornado warning out in Cass County. I bet this would probably go, Luke,
It goes till
7:45, 8 o'clock?
Yep, 8
okay.
a.m.
So folks just south of the Atlantic area, Norway Center, Cumberland, just east of Lewis. Let's get back over to velocity now that this is tornado warned, and show you some broader rotation, again, higher up, so it may be even tighter, closer to the ground right now. So that's likely, if you keep that circle on, Luke, let's flip back over to reflectivity just to kind of see where it is. And then over to the correlation coefficient too, again, to see if we get our dual pole. This may be a delayed scan. It may update and move more over there, but nothing that shouts debris ball signature or a confirmed tornado, but it's showing more impressive signs of rotation with that section of the storm as it's moving through Cass County right now. Move back. Yeah, let's go back to velocity. We'll have to wait for the next scan, but yeah, that's pretty impressive. Again, we're higher up in the cloud with how far away it is from the radar site. So if you sample over here, do a couple samplings, Luke, see what we see. 31, 74. So yeah, that's, for this high up, it's still showing some impressive signs of strengthening, though. There's the new update, shifting more east. Still seeing that green and red coupling. So potential for a spin up there on the leading edge as this continues to roll through Cass County, Iowa. Again, Cass County, Iowa, here south of Atlantic. If you zoom out a little bit, Luke, if you can, you may have to, oh, there you go. So yeah, this is just south of Atlantic, heading toward Norway Center. This goes until 8 o'clock, so about half an hour more there, but this one was just issued. We caught the rotation, and then, as expected, became tornado warned shortly after. So again, this is the fringe of our viewing area, but let's show not too many towns in between, or if we can avoid the towns, that's better news, but potential there for a spin-up tornado. Let's get back to reflectivity. Again, heavy rainfall, strong winds, some hail likely come down into Atlantic as well. But again, the area of rotation we're looking at just south of the Atlantic area. Let's zoom out even more, Luke, if you can, for me, please. Appreciate it. That's the active tornado warning. Still, these tornado warnings, Red Oak down toward Shenandoah. These go still, 7:45, 7:30. So 2 more minutes. And it doesn't look like there'll be an extension there. So we got more severe thunderstorm warnings still going on, Luke, through far southwest Iowa. Okay. So this is the main line of severe weather going on. Again, exiting the Omaha metro area, but we're still monitoring the flash flooding situation that's unfolded this morning after most of the metro area probably picking up anywhere between 2 and 5 inches of rainfall. That's 72nd Street near Pinckney in between Maple and Military, where again, Military is up high, Maple is too, and Pinckney kind of creates a natural bowl with the roads there, and all that water is settled there. We had some water rescues earlier. Kaylee Cersei's been on the scene there, several cars trapped in that flood water. But again, the heavy rains wrapped up in Omaha for now, and it's still just the main line still advancing east through southwest Iowa here this morning. A couple of active tornado warnings we'll see here. We're getting close to 7:30, about to be 7:30, so we'll probably see this warning drop, but this was the new one. We saw some really decent rotation or signs of rotation from this far away up around the Atlantic area or just south of Atlantic as it continues to push through central and eastern Cass County, eventually into the Adair County area, which would move into the Des Moines jurisdiction from the National Weather Service. So again, an advancing line. We've seen, Luke, have we had any reports of any damage? I know we've had a ton of hail reports, anywhere from quarter to golf ball size. Of course, the flash flooding, some power outages.
So, yeah, we haven't had many damage reports from this, but I believe on Max 1, I have pulled up the updated damage reports map, if you want to look at that, and that is for today, if you want to look at it. If you have to switch it to Max 1.
Or is it Max 2?
Behind me, or excuse me, Max 2, yes. But that has the damage reports there, and a lot of them have really followed kind of where we've seen the heaviest rainfall as well, kind of all along and north of I-80 there. You could see a couple tornado reports in there, but most of those, some wind reports, a lot of heavy rainfall, flooding reports, high wind reports, and that's what we've been talking about all morning, especially on the leading edge of this storm is where you've seen the majority of these damage reports, and more specifically along and north of I-80. And you can see a lot of them, Douglas County up into Washington County, really close to the metro, where we've seen a lot of those storm reports. So luckily, it hasn't been a huge amount of tornado reports right now. It's been wind and flooding has been the main threats we've seen so far. And we can, certainly still see that.
Yeah, is there a way, can you zoom into that metro area
Sure.
easily, or just for the meantime? Yeah, there we go. So you see, we had several reports, it looks like, of hail around Council Bluffs, Midtown. We had the reports near Bennington. It looks like a wind report there, south of Fort Calhoun. So, and then that's in addition to the torrential rainfall again that a lot of the metro seen 3 to 5 inches in the last 12 hours. And that, yeah, Luke, you pointed out there in Shelby County, up near Oakland, that was the funnel report that came in probably half hour ago, if that.
Yeah.
But earlier in the night, there was a tornado warning that was that moved through Harlan. This was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So this is probably that tornado. The Oakland funnel report was right around here. So there was an earlier morning tornado warning out toward the Harlan area. If we can flip back to Max 1, please, and take a look at that current storm. There we go. There's the line. There's the active warning. Luke, if you can zoom out just like a little bit, because it looked like they dropped the tornado warnings on the southern part. Yep. So those have expired. Continue along with severe thunderstorm warnings, which again, probably for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. But this is the one active tornado warning we have here, moving southeast of Atlantic, starting to push into the east side of Cass County, then outside of our KETV viewing area into Adair County, Iowa. But again, plummeting or just inundating the I-80 corridor here with extremely heavy rainfall since it's been, in Pottawatomie County, continue to advance closer to the Des Moines area. But still severe thunderstorm warnings down toward Clarinda, Red Oak, and then if we pan up north a little bit more, Luke, out toward Audubon, Carroll area. So that warning still, does that go till 8? 7:45? Okay. Still. Are they still being warned for 60 and maybe some hail?
Let me check, but yeah, as the trend right now, it's been 60 to 70 miles per hour.
67, yeah. And that's been the case. That's why I was curious if we'd seen any wind report damage, because, or if I saw, when we first came on, some early reports of 60-plus mile-per-hour wind gusts reported, though didn't see a location. I don't know if we've gotten any more. But again, as the sun is up now, we're getting into the morning, and now that most of the threat is pushing out of eastern Nebraska and parts of southwest Iowa, may see more reports come in as the day goes on. But again, we just got this new warning, this severe thunderstorm warning over the tornado warning area, so it may be they'll just let this expire or maybe cancel it depending on, we can go back to velocity, Luke, see if we see that couplet as impressive high up. Again, hard to get to the cloud base this far away from the radar, but again, still showing some broad rotation there southeast of Atlantic. Not as tight or as strong. If you can loop that for like 15 minutes, please. So yeah, there's still rotation though. Again, at its peak right here, south, and then more broad rotation as it's continuing out. But still, again, if you're in this area, Anita, Wyoto, Cumberland, anywhere in this area, again, tornado safe shelter. Just as it is still a tornado warned storm until 8 o'clock, still about 25 minutes away. So, but there's a broader severe thunderstorm warning that's just now issued. Is that one, Luke, that the new warning out in Cass County, the severe thunderstorm, is that for tornado possible? Or is it just wind?
The hazard they have highlighted is 2-inch hail.
2-inch hail, okay. Well, let's flip over to reflectivity and see if we can find that hail core, because it was, we were showing pretty impressive. But yeah, Atlantic, folks in Atlantic probably getting inundated with some large hail right now. If you have a safe way of reporting or sending a picture or video here, again, don't go out in it. Obviously, it's still ongoing right now. But if you switch over to Ville density, Luke, for me, please. Yeah. Again, this is just estimating size from the radar. But again, sometimes it shows even bigger hail and we get smaller reports, or show smaller and we get bigger reports. So this is just an estimation that there's a probability of getting at least severe size hail, quarter size or greater. So again, hail threat, heavy rain threat, potential for high winds, and then this area, southeast Atlantic, still a potential maybe for a brief spin up, but it looks like the velocity couple it not as, or the rotation more broad in nature. So not as impressive as it was just a few minutes ago. Let's flip back over to reflectivity, Luke, if you can, please. Let's zoom out a bit. So heavy rain, hail, wind. They're still just plowing through southwest Iowa into northwest Missouri. So an extension there. Another severe thunderstorm warning extending out through the rest of our viewing area. Adams, Taylor County, that goes until 8:15. Just advanced warning here as we still have this line moving through. And again, what you're seeing on your screen, this is what's the current radar, the severe threat east of the Omaha metro. This is what you're seeing, the flash flooding through parts of the Omaha metro area. That's 72nd Street between Maple and Military, where we've had live reports, water rescues ongoing. That's the lowest level there between higher up Maple and higher up Military Avenue. So with most of them, especially north side of the metro, north of I-80, since yesterday evening, likely seen anywhere from 3, possibly up to 6 inches of rain. This is the end result as it's settling in the lowest point there between those two roadways. So that's what's left over in Omaha right now. Again, the severe threat gone for this morning. Again, we're still monitoring the potential for another round of severe storms through the middle of the day. The biggest question mark is, well, did this do enough to keep the atmosphere destabilized enough so it can't recharge in time for the front and the upper level support to come through, as it's expected to kick up more storms through the middle of the day, noon to 2 here in the Omaha metro, and then advancing through Iowa again. So this is the first of potentially 2 rounds of severe weather that we're watching today. So they keep trimming down the, if we can take max 1 full, please. There we go. So again, trimming down that tornado warning, but again, anywhere along that leading edge here, continuing through southwest Iowa and into northwest Missouri. May not be warned yet, but folks, Maryville, Nottoway County may get warned as well. So that's the setup right now. Anywhere along the leading edge, still watching out potential for little quick spin-ups, but only one area right now, east of Atlantic, continuing to push toward the fringe of our viewing area, eventually heading into Adair County. But look at that, going through our entire viewing area in southwest Iowa, folks. We got you covered here this morning. Atlantic likely getting some large hail. Looks like the biggest hail core there through Shelby County, and then could see a little bit more east of Red Oak down toward the Clarinda area. Luke, is this also warned? Some of these down here, are these warned for hail as well? Or is it still primarily just wind on the southern edge or the southern segment?
I believe from what I've seen, wind and hail have been the main concern on almost all of these. And they've all still been moving to the east at around 40 miles per hour, which is a little bit slower than it was earlier as they went over to the metro.
Because when these things here, I'll loop this around. This is the last couple of hours. I mean, these things were hauling. We had the big storm over Omaha right here, and then behind it, this strengthening line of storms that bowed out and then just raced ahead, caught up to this, kind of slowed down, and look at how it kind of merged together, and then you just get this wall of rain and wind with hail inside it, and still the potential for some spin-ups along the leading edge. So still stretching through all of southwest Iowa into northwest Missouri, closer to the St. Joe area now, but things winding down again in eastern Nebraska, but we got some clearing more out in central Nebraska, and the front, the upper level low, the support there for more storms to initiate near and west of the metro area. That's what we're going to be watching late morning into the early afternoon, where the storms will start popping up, because if they pop as we get closer to midday west of Omaha, greater chance we get another round of severe weather here between noon and 2 p.m., 1 and 3 p.m. in southwest Iowa, and then ongoing very large potential for severe weather to continue all afternoon and evening in central and eastern Iowa, where the Storm Prediction Center has a moderate risk out here today. What you're seeing on the right, this is the Papio Creek. We've got a view from our Charles Schwab Skycam. That's Old Mill area, just south of Dodge near 108th Street. So it swelled up earlier this morning. Did not look like that, obviously, before some of the heavier rain. If we take it, that one full real quick, and then before we bounce back to radar, that viewpoint swelling up. Parts of the area, you see all the debris in there as well. And earlier we were showing this, some of the sidewalks, the trail areas around it were also covered in water there. So be very careful out there as these rivers and streams, creeks have swelled up significantly with the significant rainfall here this morning. All right, let's get back to Max 1. Again, several severe thunderstorm warnings across southwest Iowa, still hanging on to this tornado warning. Radar indicated rotation far south or far eastern Cass County, Iowa. Luke, if we can go back into it again, we had earlier some good signs of rotation, then more broad rotation, and now if we flip back over to reflect or to velocity, not as much, but it's showing a little bit there up. Okay, that's a recent one, some more broad rotation. But again, this is the county line right here, so it's about to move out of our viewing area from Cass County into Adair County, Iowa. So still, that's ongoing for another 15 minutes right now. All right, let's get back to reflectivity. Zoom out a bit. Excellent. So we're just seeing this is a wall of rain, wind, some hail included, potentially anywhere from quarter to golf ball, maybe even a little bit bigger. This was warned, Luke, you said for 2-inch hail for this part of Cass County.
Yes, one of those up there was quite considerable hail size.
Have we got any reports?
No, they haven't sent in many reports in the past hour or so. There is, not many at all that I can see.
Okay, that's all right. I was going to say, okay, let's go to Jack. Jack, you got some updated numbers on power outages?
We do. In Douglas County, numbers have gone over 10,000 according to OPPD. Actually, at 11,684. Douglas County alone, 9,427. Council Bluffs, at last check from Mid-American Energy Company, 986, so approaching 1,000 there. Sarpy County back with OPPD. As we get a live look, once again at 72nd and Pinckney, want to recap what Kaylee Searcy had a live interview with a woman who was rescued from her car, who was able to get out with that flooding. This is about 20, 30 minutes ago when we really saw the peak of that flooding. And just to surmise what she said, she mentioned that she was following a person. Before she knew it, she was floating. She got turned around. She rolled down her window, climbed out. Water was at about waist deep, and she was able to make her way to an adjacent parking lot. Mentioned how terrifying and scary something like that was. She seemed to be okay. But again, just how quick something like this can happen.
And also, there was a water rescue earlier from, you could see it on the camera, that small SUV under the $8 sign there. OFD was using a rope to help guide someone back to the grass area over there. It looks like the water's pretty still right now, but before it was moving around. Cars were even more submerged than they are right now. So, I mean, never, we've been saying it all morning, but I think it's warranted to say it again. Never try to drive through any type of water, especially this deep on any roadways, or else, obviously we're seeing what could happen.
And just to keep everyone in the loop, Kaylee right now trying to speak with Omaha Police Department, so we will get you updated if there is anyone injured or anyone hurt from this right now. We have not gotten any indication of that yet. Of course, just the main takeaways is not to drive through anything like this. It can happen this rapidly and fast. On a side note, we also want to mention that closings and delays are running at the bottom of your screen. Hopefully you've been able to catch those. If not, some of the key takeaways, Council Bluffs schools, Westside Community Schools, Bennington schools all have a 2-hour late start, and Missouri Valley Community Schools on a 1-hour late start right now.
Right. And this isn't the only area that we're seeing flooding. I know from people that have messaged me specifically, 72nd Pacific has seen some flooding, some stalled vehicles there. We also maybe had some flooding out at 96th and Q. We can look at the Papio Creek right now. You
Take
could
a
see
look.
that was
Swollen
swelling. And I just want to point out too that there were people actually standing on that sidewalk. I don't think that's a smart idea.
No.
We do not know how fast that water's moving. And Sean, can you just elaborate how quickly things can change from this situation?
Well, yeah, that's what we saw. As we've seen, we've seen multiple rounds of heavy rainfall, and the flash flooding can happen in a matter of seconds or minutes. The rainfall rates from some of these storms, 2 to 3 inches per hour at times, and most of the metro area picking up anywhere from 2, possibly 6 inches of rain along and north of I-80 right now. So again, the severe threat is done in Omaha, but the ongoing flash flood concerns in some areas you have to watch out for. But still, the line of storm still advancing through southwest Iowa. We still have one active tornado warning there. Again, far eastern Cass County, Iowa, still for another 15 minutes. That goes until 8 o'clock. And still that leading edge line stretching all the way from northwest Missouri all the way up through most of Iowa right now, pushing east of Atlantic, east of Red Oak, through Clarinda right now, about to head into Page and Taylor County. Still ongoing severe thunderstorm warning past the 8 o'clock hour. So this is advancing toward the far eastern portion of our viewing area. And Luke, if this is about to cross over the county line, so that's moving out of our viewing area, and likely if we do see an extension of that possible tornado warning, but we've got a severe thunderstorm warning, I doubt, or would hedge that we probably wouldn't see an extension of that tornado warning. But if we zoom in down here, check out possibly some larger hail as well. From Clarinda, Villisca, that's right on you right now, heading toward Corning, Bedford, and eventually toward the Creston area. So this is the edge. You'll get some very strong winds to come through, some very heavy rainfall, though much less wide here on the southern part here, but going right over Clarinda and Villisca right now in southwest Iowa. So, and then let's advance north, Luke. We'll follow this all the way north through the fringe of the viewing area. So again, the leading edge here that I was trying to, that's the Cass County line into Adair County, Iowa. Again, some strong hail, or large hail potential for quarter, golf ball, possibly up to egg size. That's 2 inch. It was warned for potential for up to 2-inch hail. So Anita, this area, this hail core here could have significant hail coming down. That's pushing east of Atlantic. And then if we keep going north, Luke, now pushing east of Audubon, so heading outside of our viewing area toward Guthrie Center, and then up toward Carroll, it just looks like some heavier rainfall. And we haven't had the lightning on for the last hour or so. I don't think we've turned it on just because there's been so much along that leading edge. It's hard to see everything else. But let's zoom out, Luke, and you can probably see it a little bit more closer to Atlantic, more of that lightning with the stronger part of the storm. Yeah. Quite a bit of lightning. But again, this is heading toward the outskirts of our viewing area, about to head, closer to the Des Moines area. But still severe warned here as we get closer to the 8 o'clock hour again. Severe threat done in the Omaha metro, inundated with heavy rainfall. Still some areas of town that we've reported and shown you. Flash flooding concerns, and still several thousand without power as this line moved through. Again, bringing not only heavy rainfall, we've had handful of hail reports as well. Potential for seeing up to 60, in some spots, up to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, but still haven't seen any damage reports, at least so far here this morning as we're getting close to 8 o'clock. So the rest of the morning drive in Omaha looking okay. Again, avoid the flooded roadway areas that we've seen here early this morning.
Hey, Sean, one thing you've mentioned a lot is that we're expecting another downpour maybe between 11 and 3 across our state. I mean, after what's happened this morning in this massive flooding, and we see Papio Creek in the bottom right corner of our screen, is there anything other heightened cautiousness we need to take with this next severe downpour that may happen in just a few hours this morning?
Well, that's the biggest concern really is the threat of another round of severe storms. After one round goes off, within a 6 to 10 hour period, we could get 2 rounds. And, the ground's already saturated. We've got the flash flood warning still going. The next round will likely be a lot quicker if we get hit. But again, adding any more rain to already saturated areas is not a good recipe. All modes severe weather in play, a greater tornado risk with the second round. So again, we still have to stay weather aware. The biggest question is going to be, did this round that just rolled through and inundated us with that heavy rainfall and the storms, will it be enough to keep the atmosphere stable long enough so when the system rolls through with the front and the low, does the atmosphere have enough time to recharge? And we'll be watching because it could keep us in the clear. We'll see though, because if those storms fire up west of Omaha, more likely we're going to see that severe round between noon and 2 o'clock in the metro area. But it could be those storms fire up near and then more east of Omaha, and then expecting widespread severe activity, especially in Iowa, central and eastern Iowa, as the afternoon and evening progresses. So still expecting potential for another round of severe weather today, late morning, early afternoon, even after this moves out. But there's still a possibility that this round did enough to possibly diminish our chances, but we'll have to wait and see here over the next coming hours if we can warm back up enough before the front and the low move through. But again, ongoing here, we're approaching the 8 o'clock hour. Most of the leading edge exiting our viewing area, the extension here, far eastern Cass County, moving into Adair County, that was that tornado warning. So this is likely, that goes until 8, I think. So likely get, just let that run out, but still far southwest Iowa, still getting the heavy rain, the wind, some hail. And Luke, we don't have any other reports, do we, at this point?
No, haven't got really anything else other than the flooding that we've seen and obviously the hail and heavy rain.
Okay. All right, we got 8 minutes to 8. Still holding on to the warning here for our folks in southwest Iowa right now. The morning commute ongoing. Again, watch out for flooding concern in the Omaha metro, even as the rain has stopped falling down. But again, we're watching potential even as this moves out. Just showing the loop the last couple of hours. Look at that. Just roll through. Rounds of heavy rain overnight, some severe weather move through Omaha. This is just the loop over the last 3 hours, but this was the line out west that then strengthened and just whoosh, pushing through. So this line moving out, and then we're watching more back to the west as we go through the next 2 to 3 hours if we start to see anything pop up here. But again, these storms may have done their job enough to possibly diminish our chances for more severe weather later this afternoon, but still have to watch out really in the metro between noon and 2 o'clock, because if they fire up, they're going to fire up quick and move through quick, and then continue to advance through Iowa. So a greater probability of seeing another round of severe weather rolling through southwest Iowa as the afternoon and evening progresses. So
yeah, and Sean, I have the SPC outlook on Max 2 if you want to see it. I'm not sure if it updated from the morning.
Usually the day one, yeah, it would update again. If it hasn't updated, it may update within the next 10 minutes, because usually they have an update before 8 a.m., but this was the latest one as of this morning for that second round. You know, it's not often we see a moderate risk issued here in red, which is bulk of Iowa stretching almost to the Omaha area. So, you know, before this round, still, you know, the models picked up on this morning round. We've been talking about the multiple rounds of storms we could see, but we'll be watching if we get anything that fires up really out here, you know, closer to 11 o'clock, that would have the potential to move into the Omaha metro and then grow in coverage as it continues to roll through Iowa through the afternoon and evening hours. But really, if you're west of Omaha, you're watching 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. here in Omaha, more likely noon to 2. And if you're in southwest Iowa, 1 to 3. And then after 3 o'clock, I mean, Des Moines and then eastward, expecting a big severe weather late afternoon and evening ahead. So again, that's what we've been talking about, multiple rounds, and the potential there for all modes severe weather in play. And then on top of that, still with all the rain we've seen, with any more additional storms, will only add to the potential for flooding or flash flooding, as we've seen so much rain here just in the last 6 to 12 hours since yesterday evening. Many spots along and north of I-80 getting 3 to 6 inches in some areas, even more than that. So let's go back over to Max 1. We have 5 more minutes to 8. There we go. That's the progression over the last 3 hours. Storm bubbling up over, moving in Omaha, and then the line catching up. And then now starting to push into the far eastern reaches of the viewing area. Jack, Waverly, you got any updates coming into the newsroom?
We do actually, Sean. We just saw this on Twitter. Just for the Big Ten baseball tournament, it's been pushed back. First game's been pushed back till 1 p.m.
Okay.
So I know we were talking about that very early this morning, but that is a update from Big Ten baseball.
Yeah, because the first scheduled game was for 10 a.m. The Huskers were scheduled to play at 2 p.m.
Right.
What's going to happen now?
And then there's 3 games scheduled today, and then one, I think 3 today, and then 1 tomorrow for the first round. So again, this is moving out, but that 1 p.m. time period, we could see additional delays if we get more storms to fire up. And then after that moves through, the wind is going to pick up, temperatures are going to drop. So it remains to be seen how much we're going to warm up before the front gets here. But if we climb into the 70s early this afternoon, we could be back in the 60s a couple, an hour or two later with northwest winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. So there at the Chuck, that would be blowing out to center field. But again, right now, the ongoing present threat is the 60 mile per hour winds, possibly quarter to golf ball, possibly even larger hail now starting to move out of Cass County and still far southwestern Iowa, east of Clarinda, folks in Taylor and Adams County, still ongoing severe thunderstorm warning. It looks for Luca, another 15 minutes, 8:15 on that one, or is that 8:30?
8:15.
8:15, okay. So we got 15 more minutes there. And if you can pan more south, again, moving folks in Maryville. We got some viewers down in Maryville. This is hitting you right now, but not severe warned right now. So still stretching all the way, looks like from St. Joe all the way through most of Iowa. Oh, there's the Skycam view of that flooding that we have. But the extent, look at that. Continue to just barrel eastward, though a little slower than it was previously earlier this morning before it merged with the storms ahead of it. But still, majority of the area drying out now, which is great, just since we've had so much rain since late yesterday evening in some spots, southwest of the metro, out toward Butler, Seward County, and then still continue multiple rounds overnight and still early this morning, still approaching 8 o'clock as this line of severe storms will be pushing through the rest of our viewing area. But again, still seeing some lingering just general showers far south, Sarpy County into Cass County, down toward Nebraska City, maybe toward the Plattsmouth area, but none of that severe right now. Luke, if we can take the lightning off and then zoom in here into Taylor and Adams County. Just want to see if we got any, showing some hail potential between Villisca and Corning right now. Just want to check out Ville density to see anything. So yeah, Villisca, Corning. Is this being warned for quarter size, golf ball size?
I believe it was around 1.5 inches is what they
okay.
warned that for, but I'll double check that in a second.
Thank you. So possibly ping pong to golf ball size hail there as well. Let me see. I've got a hail tracker, which again, hail potential not showing as impressive as it has at times early this morning, but still, nonetheless, still quite a bit of heavy rainfall and at least severe size hail. So we are approaching 8 o'clock now. We've just got 15 more minutes on this warning. See here. Flip back over to reflectivity. And again, those of you tuning in Southwest Iowa, this will be moving through fairly quickly and then out of our viewing area. And then we'll be waiting and watching to see if we can keep the atmosphere at bay. That would be the better scenario and not have a second round, but it's still a possibility if we get a little bit of clearing or just warming up a little bit ahead of the system out west, bringing the front through. Another round of severe weather is possible between noon and 2 o'clock. Again, for the Omaha Metro, that's the window where we could see more activity today and then advance through all of Iowa through the afternoon. So we'll be watching here the next couple of hours where storms start to pop as we get closer to the noon hour. Jack, Waverly, you guys have any Any updates or reports coming in?
We do. We've got
Yes.
plenty of just recap in the last 3 hours. Sean, thank you for your diligent reporting on everything. Yes, and one of the most striking scenes we saw about an hour ago is around 72nd and Pinckney,
Right.
where Kaylee Cersei's been live.
Yes, she has been. We had a water rescue, people trapped in cars. Kaylee is live with us. Kaylee, do we have, what can you give us? What update can you give us?
Absolutely. Waverly and Jack, I mean, just as fast as the water came in, it's leaving. If you can see, remember the water was up to the door handles of that Jeep right there. It's now going down just at the wheels here. And even just like these posts here, these blue ones, those were covered. You couldn't see those. And even just this Renegade, if you remember, it was submerged in water, but now there's no water near it at all. They are still blocking off either sides of 72nd just to make sure that no one still comes down. And there still is a good amount of water that is flooded just kind of in the middle where just that drop-off point from the hill. But now people who were trapped in that cluster of cars earlier today, they're able to go in and recover some of their items, right? So we also spoke to a couple people who just kind of talked about the same thing, that when they drove over the water, it just happened so fast. The water just started rushing up into their car. Even some people's cars just shut off because of that water. But we also were able to speak to Omaha police off camera. Now they say that, again, they're waiting for the water to go down so cars can get towed out here. And also either the city can tow them or the owners can just get a private tow company. But they're asking people to not start their cars up in hopes that some of these cars, they didn't get water into their engine. Also, OFD, you know, they're no longer on scene because everyone who was out here, they were able to get out safely. OFD has now been going out to all the creeks just to check to see if there's any flooding, checking to see these homes near the creeks to make sure that anyone inside didn't experience too much flooding. And again, just to make sure everyone's safe. But really out here, Waverly and Jack, it's a much different scene. It's calmer. The water's no longer rushing down the street. It's no longer, these cars are not as submerged. Now, again, the water is still going down. You can see that silver car in the background and that black Jeep there. They're about the cars that are mostly submerged here. But other than that, other cars are going to start to be able to drive out of here, or at least try to see if maybe they can start those cars up.
And OPD telling you that it's going to take several days just to clean up these flooded areas right where you are, right, Kaylee?
Absolutely. That's what the officer told me. He just said that just this area alone is just going to take some time because of all that water that came through. But then he also just mentioned that on the other side, just on 72nd and Military, it looks the same. Or again, those creek beds or anywhere that there's those bodies of water, it's going to take a while because a lot of those places also were flooded and inundated with all of that water. And again, it's just going to take days to clean up.
Yeah, Kaylee, we've seen a little bit of debris, maybe a couple branches, things like that. Is that damage that occurred from your point of view during the storm, or did that flow into the kind of valley area where you're at?
I would say it was definitely from this storm because of just those high winds. When it was coming down, the rain was going sideways. So I would say some of that damage is definitely from that storm that came through from those trees. It's not too bad out here, but you definitely have those limbs. You have some of those branches out here and things like that. Maybe just some litter and again, more of that debris. So I would say it was from the storm.
All right, Kaylee, thank you so much. We're glad to hear, most importantly, that everyone that was needing rescue where you're at has been brought to safety, and cleanup will begin for now. So, Kaylee, thank you for your live reporting out there.
Thank you, Kaylee. Okay, so here is a viewer video. This is from the blowing rain from 116th and Center. I believe this was sent in probably around closer, maybe 5:36, 6:15. You could just see that rain is really coming down, being thrown around by that wind. We also have flash flooding video from 168th and Q Street. You can see that water being pushed up against that white fence, kind of picking up there, going under it and out through that backyard. Wow, that is a lot of water and it is moving fast.
Exactly, and we just want to thank all of our viewers for sending in these videos and these photos and telling the story. Videos like this at 72nd and Blondo, flash flooding happening just so fast. Very similar to the video we just saw, that water moving quick and then those cars passing through, as we saw with Kaylee just a few minutes ago. That's how a situation that can be able to get stuck, that's how that can happen.
And here's some more flash flooding. This is a picture out of Fremont. You can see that the water is completely covering the roadway from the end of that driveway there. Now, I also want to say I saw a couple of photos on Facebook as well of trees down in the Fremont area. So definitely those folks out there waking up to a lot of storm damage. There is video. This is back in Omaha Knolls golf course area, flooding there. It just doesn't look great. A lot of flooding that we've seen this morning. This is 58th and Northwest Radial, maybe Drive there.
Debris getting pushed out into the street, and one of the very common sights that we've seen, the Papio Creek flooding. See if we could take that next. This from a distance, a different look than what we've been showing you overhead. Again, this all over the span of the last 3 hours, and that on top of the overnight.
Oh, right, exactly. On top of what happened, I believe that happened, past midnight, or around midnight at least. So
it's really just been constant.
I know. And then we're getting another set later of storms later today. But I also want to just point out there is a couple of 2-hour delays. Those are running at the bottom of your screen. This is hail from Papillion, just more of what we have been seeing continuously in our coverage area and what Sean and Luke has been covering all morning. Most
of what's been coming in. At first it was the hail. We got a lot of these hail videos. This one from Fort Calhoun, up a little bit north. This is the first time seeing this video.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, you could hear it too. So the hail coming down first, then the flooding, and out in the Blair Airport, we're told that we have flooding video out there as well, as we can see just how quick all across our viewing area it has amassed.
Yeah. We also got a viewer email asking us to talk about potential basement flooding. I know for homeowners, when there's flooding of this capacity and it's so close to homes, you could be experiencing that. So if you want to send in photos for that too, also be careful, call your insurance, things like that. Just more damage, really, from these overnight storms.
We're trying to think of these storms from every possible angle, so they're also causing some flight delays and disruptions. At Epley right now, there are north of 9 delays and cancellations total. We get an updated check for you. There's a running list so far. If you are hoping to catch a flight later today, check your information. Go to flyoma.com.
Well, let's go into the Council Bluffs because they got some storm damage as well. This is hail. That's thanks to Sandy Kanger for these photos. You can see on our front porch, they're just kind of littered. And then this is another photo of hail in Council Bluffs covering a front yard. And it kind of looks like almost a little bit like snow.
Yeah.
And then we might have some video out of Scribner. This is a front door camera. Becky sent this in to us via Twitter. You could see the hail kind of pounding into her house. She was in the basement at the time because it was a very severe weather situation earlier this morning there.
Take you back to Bennington for some more looks at that hail. Really put in size comparison with the hand there. So we've seen up to over quarter-sized hail, near golf ball sized, and a good opportunity now just to keep everyone updated. Last check, out in Council Bluffs, 1,123 outages reported power-wise at OPPD. Actually going down in Douglas County, now at 8,967. About 30 minutes ago, it was over 10,000. There's about 10,700 total reported from OPPD as well.
And 1,300 out of Sarpy County. So our folks in, we're getting
more Bennington video now. That hail, again, this is early on in the storm. As you can tell, lightning encompassing it, coming down hard. And we want to see if we can check back in with Sean. Do we have anything developing right now, Sean?
Now pushing out of our entire viewing area, still just a couple of severe thunderstorms still on the far edge as this is getting out of our viewing area closer to the Des Moines areas, but still Taylor Adams County. This is just the loop the last 3 hours as we recap. We had the initial storm here over Omaha, dump heavy rainfall, hail, and then it was this line of storms that raced through, kind of merged with it, and it's continued to push eastward. So we saw at times warned for up to 70-mile-per-hour winds, several tornado warnings with possible quick spin-ups on the leading edge of this as it pushed east, and then still inundated with heavy rainfall. So still at the moment, still for another 5 minutes, Taylor, Adams County under that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, some larger hail, some gusts up to 60 miles per hour and some very heavy rain. So this is pushing out of our viewing area here shortly. Still just some lingering showers between Plattsmouth and Nebraska City. I'm not sure. Let's just put on the lightning. A lot of lightning there, but this is just some leftover rain here. So this is pushing out. Again, ongoing flash flood warning continues around most of the Omaha Metro, Douglas County, up toward Blair, and then for northern Pottawatomie County into parts of Harrison, Shelby County, Audubon County as well, and then parts of Saunders and Butler County, and then just general flood warnings, along that whole area along and north of the I-80 corridor. Flood watch still continues for all the darker green areas until 7 o'clock this evening because, again, since midnight, and these numbers will probably still update here this morning. This is since midnight. Eppley Airfield, more than 3.5 inches of rain, close to 4.5 in Fremont. And Luke had a report earlier of more than a report in the Omaha area of more than 6 inches of rain. So within this swath, it's very possible we could see anywhere from 3 to 6, possibly some isolated areas 7, maybe even 8 inches of rain. This is just really since yesterday evening. And overnight hours. This total at Eppley, though, since midnight. So again, the ongoing flash flooding concern we've showed you here. And then the biggest question for the rest of the day, where the storms are going to fire up as we get closer to lunchtime. Still, another round of severe weather is possible late morning, afternoon. This is Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook. And it's not too often we get a moderate risk for part of our area. So the red here, southwest Iowa, and especially into central and eastern Iowa, watching for storms to develop in eastern Nebraska late this morning and then race eastward. Though, again, if you tuned in earlier, have been with us all morning long, it's possible that this morning round could have brought enough rain and cool us down, stabilize the atmosphere enough that we don't have enough time to recharge it before this next round. So that's the question to be answered and what we'll be watching closely just over the next couple of hours, because if storms do fire up in eastern Nebraska, more likely, 10, 11 o'clock out west of Omaha if they do fire. So if you're west of Omaha, your window for the next round would be 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Here in the Omaha Metro, we're looking noon to 2. And then southwest Iowa, 1 to 3. And then anything that fires up is really just going to race east and expecting a very busy, severe weather day ongoing in central and eastern Iowa into the evening hours. So from west to east, really the window from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for everybody. But again, earlier out west and then more into the afternoon off to the east. So still the threat of very large hail, damage and wind gusts, and a better tornado risk with any of these storms that do develop. So again, there's still a scenario where we did enough this morning that maybe those storms fire up near and then more east of Omaha, but there's still a possibility they fire up to our west. And if they do, that would still bring a better threat of more severe storms as we go through the middle of the day. So we've done a lot here over the last 3 to 4 hours, and then even before then, more storms. So we're not out of the woods yet. We are for now, but still potential for more severe weather heading on later on today. So stay with us here on KETV. Of course, as we always say, have that KETV mobile app handy for updates, especially if you're in town too for that the Big Ten baseball tournament. We'll continue to update you as the day goes on, and of course, if severe weather moves in, we'll be sure to break into coverage here and track it along the way. So thanks for joining us this morning, and be safe and have a great day. For now, we'll send it back to regular programming.
Welcome.